Welcome. I'm Halcyon and this is Hug Nation. Today I want to question one of my core mantras: float more, steer less. Is that still work? I've been having all these thoughts and these practices and these things in my life recently that have made me feel like, ooh, man, I've been off track. For most of my life, I've been a go with the flow person. Just trusting that the current will take you where you're supposed to go. But past year, especially, past 6 months, I've really become aware that without some form of discipline, you cannot achieve success. And you can define success however you want. Success as in peace, as in health, as in happiness, as in relationship harmony, as in, entrepreneurial success. Whatever it is, I don't want to define success as traditional success of just making money. I mean, just reaching a level of mastery in anything requires some discipline. And so what about this floating? What I have come to realize as I've been sitting with this is that it still works. Don't worry. If you bought one of my t-shirts, float more, steer less, it still works. Whew. Don't have to change wardrobes. But here's how it works. It's about recognizing the depth of things. I'll try to explain. When you have a process of commitments versus choices, for example, I've committed not to eat sugar, no added sugar, which is different than I'm trying to be healthier. If I say I'm trying to be healthier, I'm going with the flow, trying to be healthier, and in the moment, someone offers me a cupcake, and I go, oh, that looks great. That feels good. I eat the cupcake. Nothing wrong with that. But if I have a commitment to a certain practice, then when the flow approaches me to the cupcake, I don't have the choice of accepting it. I've made a contract with higher self me. There is immediacy me and timeless me. Timeless me gets some presence, meditative state, looks at the history, wisdom, other teachers, other inspiration, looks into the future, where we're going, and says, all right, from this place, I am going to decree some practices. I'm going to make a plan, a commitment, a path forward that we're going to follow. And so it shall be. Pass that down to private me. That's general me passing it to private me. Private me marches along, cupcake comes up. I don't have the choice of saying, I want to do a cupcake now. We've already decided from this higher place. Now, here's where I got into this dilemma. Have I now obliterated float more, steer less? Have I now said, forget floating, do what you say? No. Because here's where the metaphor still works. If you have a grand river, let's say you go to the woods and you happen upon a cool creek going through. If you look at a section of the creek and there's some rocks and stuff and the water's flipping around, it's splashing it out, and there's these little rapids there, and you put a leaf down and it's going to go batter around, that is one way to be going with the flow and floating more. However, that's not the kind of floating we want to do. We want to take a step into the 10,000 feet and see the trajectory of this creek and not be pulled by each rock. Recognize the flow of the entire river and go with that. So it's still floating more and steering less. It's just floating maybe deeper or shallower or less at the whims of the surface splashing and twigs and rocks. Does that make sense? It certainly did this morning, but I guess the point is we can still float more, steer less, while we have an agreement to honor our commitments. And it's in that balance of how do we stay rigid while being in the flow. It's in that kind of sweet spot balance that we can, tune into a deeper energy, a deeper motivation, and avoid the temptations or the weaknesses, and avoid the need to have to like this powerful willpower. If you take away the choice and just honor the commitment, you don't have to be strong in the moment. You just have to be dedicated to the practice. Now, I'm saying that as someone who's been practicing for, depending on the different practices, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So I'm just speaking of this as I am learning it. I am no master of these things. When you visit me on a mountaintop in 20 years and I've been, dedicated to my cupcake-free practice of whatever for 20 years, then maybe I will be able to speak to this with some mastery as well as better articulation. But for now, I will pass on the cupcake and say, yes, please, to floating more. Thank you for humoring me into this exploration of float more, steer less. I hope that it continues to be something that is helpful if it needs to be. I love you.
I've been homeless since 2012. My mom passed away in 2010. I've been homeless almost 8 years.
Have a hug.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you.
I got something else for you. So beyond some basic stuff, I want you to get whatever you need.
Oh, God, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Will that help?
Yeah, that helped. Thank you, John.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I want to make sure things are as good as possible. Good luck with the new place. It's so
Thank you.
exciting.
I'll keep updating you guys.
Yes, please do.
Thank you, John.
You're very welcome.
And thank you, too.